and because it's wait mode, let's just get right into it. And I think from what I've seen of my past runs, there is a lot of flexibility in what you can do. Like, for example, in Final Fantasy 3 I did 2 USBs in phase 1, and I could probably have gone away with just 1. So if you want real optimization, you can have it, but at the same time you have got flexibility. Okay, so it's going to vary a bit who starts first. Sometimes it's Mog, sometimes it's your healer, sometimes it might be one of your DPSs. But I think Stitching Time only lasts a relatively short time. Let's look it up, shall we? I think it might be 15 seconds, or maybe it's 25 seconds. "15 seconds. So it's a little bit early to be doing that right now, when we're not going to get the full benefit of it. So let's just get straight into doing damage. Mog generally does the chain straight away, but you could potentially leave it until the next turn if you want to. I've got Chain Tornado here just in case, but I think because I've gone Awaken, she's not going to worry about Rydia. She could do her Dyad, but let's just get straight into the damage. And I would say because summoners have fewer uses, we'll start off with Lunar Dragon. I want to keep the sync available just in case. And the healer generally does her Protronics. Double casts shouldn't matter too much. I've certainly not got to the point where I have to rely on a double cast to win. Okay, keep going with the damage. Turn 2 for the healer. Generally, your Historic Crystals. Let's get this off. We don't want to leave it too long, otherwise we're going to not get the full benefit of it. Let's keep going with him. Ordinarily, Stitching Time is probably not that important. Only ninjas can use it, so we could just assume that Edge is a secondary damage dealer. In Final Fantasy X, for example, I've got Jet in slot 4, I think, and he's a monk. You could, if you want to, use a Mega Drive for a couple of turns and then cast. That's up to you. Mog on his second turn will start off with Stone Skin, because all our characters are a little bit low on HP. There we go. Let's get the damage going. I want to build up these Soulbait points. Okay, now this is where I found it a little bit interesting. Sometimes I've let my healer do one of her abilities, or his abilities, but I think on one attempt that I did, Mog died, and I don't know necessarily whether I did something wrong or I've been relying on chase heal, so let's just go ahead and do a Soulbait now, and in this case let's just stick with the USP. I don't think many people will have the sync because it's harder to come by, but let's just get that done. And I think if Edge gets hit, he should be fine. See, I'm tempted to just use Edge now, but let's stick with just... Yeah, well, we'll do Stitching Time then. That will get him to about 21 seconds. Mog has time to do one turn, so let's just do Passionate Assault. It doesn't matter which one. I think it's just more to lower everyone, lower the stats of the boss. Barbariccia is not going to do her break damage limit, so she can just keep doing DPS. Edge can... So I'm wondering if you've got 2 break damage limits, that might be a little bit too much DPS. So I think at this point I should probably explain why I'm saving soul break points for later. In phase 2, we have these things that go around the boss which are called souls. And some of his attacks depend on how many souls he has. And for... let's actually see if I can bring up the actual turn. I think it's turn 6 of phase 2. So this is where he either does stun or bar. Well, stun, which is the interrupt, and bar is the bar element. So he kind of reduces your elemental effectiveness. That is based on how many souls you have, and really, especially when it comes to stun, which is mostly what he does, if you've got 3 or more souls on the boss, then he will stun slots 2, 3, and 4. And that's kind of not what you want to happen, really. If you're going to have anyone get stunned, you want it just on slot 3. So we need to clear those souls by... I'll keep an eye on them. We need to remove those souls by casting soul break points. Or soul breaks. And 1 soul equals 1 bar. And the math states that after turn 1, he has 6 souls. Then after turn 2, he has another 2, so that's 8. Generally, you want to have cleared those by then. Or at least some of them. So let's just assume that you've cleared all of them. So that's 8 bars you need to have got rid of after 2 turns. Then I think turn 3 you have 2 souls, so that's 10. And then after memory bite you have 3. So that's 8 plus 5. 8 plus 5, so that's 13. You need 13 bars to, I would say, effectively do this. I mean, you can try and do it with less, particularly if they don't stun you. I think in one of my runs, I think Final Fantasy 2, I actually got stunned on slots 2, 3, and 4, and I made it perfectly fine. But let's try and assume that you can't do that. So keep an eye on my son at the same time. So generally we have 2 bars from slot 1, 2 from slot 2, 2 from slot 3, 2 from slot 4, 2 from slot 5. So that is 10. 10 bars, or what I would like to say is 5 soul breaks. And I think you need a minimum of 6, really. Yeah, that should be right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then someone needs to do a second one, and that would probably be, I think, it could be the healer. Yeah. The healer could do a second one, perhaps. It depends on whether you have extra soul breaks on your other 2 characters, Rydia and Edge. I'm trying to decide on what would be best. Yeah, so we've got stun for Final Fantasy 4, so I really do need to be careful. I would say let's leave Edge. Edge can just carry on. Rydia, this is where you perhaps have a choice here. You could do just the Awaken, and then you could leave these two for later. Or you could try and do the Dyad now and then the Awaken. But let's assume people don't have the Awaken. Sorry, the Dyad. And we might as well keep building up soul break points on Rosa. Okay, there we go. So now we can start doing soul break damage points now. We want Mog to wait now until full break goes on. So we just keep mashing this. There we go. We can clear that straight away. And if you've got it honed, which really you should at the earliest opportunity, it will give him 2 uses of his Awaken, and you'll be able to get that damage reduction barrier, which will certainly help. Barbariccia, we're going to wait on her. Because she's got instant cast, she's going to get an unusually high amount of soul break points. So you could always put her USB on now and then go, but I don't think it's necessary in this situation. And generally we want to get to the end of phase 1 by about 15 seconds. Because we've got infinite home, we can start using the hero abilities now. I mean, if you have got, say, Barbariccia's ASB, you could always try and do the ASB during break damage limit phase, and then she'll do even more damage. So I'll get to the beginning of phase 2 before I kind of explain why I'm holding Edge back and Rydia's perhaps pushing forwards. Mog is just building up soul break points and healing. He needs to save his soul break points because he's not going to get a chance to get crit over. So we're getting up to the point now where we need to be looking at this. We don't want to get sort of too overzealous with the DPS because we want people to start doing soul break points ready at the beginning of phase 2. The same goes when we're hitting 40% for phase 3. We don't want Mog to cast when we know we're going to hit 40%. And this can also have an effect as well, chases as well. Okay, so this is where I think we now need to be a bit flexible on what we want to do. The next hit is going to put us into phase 2. Now, I'm just wondering what would be the best thing to do here. Generally, someone needs to do the chain and someone needs to do the Historia Crystal. And I would say that's going to be your healer and Mog. Mog doesn't have too much to do, but I think he has perhaps more to do than your healer does. So let's have Rosa do the chain, because by the time it goes off it's going to be after 15 seconds. So let's cast that. Mog, by the end of phase 2 you need to have 2 bars. He's going to get hit, he's going to get casts off, but if you're too slow, he could end up losing 2 bars. So really we want to get this up to 4 bars if we can. So he can afford to do the Historic Crystal because this is instant cast. At least he will be able to get going again. So let's cast that. Okay, so yeah, we're at the point now where if Barbariccia had done her USB, we might just be okay. Yeah. But I think there's going to be a slight issue if you have, for example, glint pluses, and also I did instant cast turns instead of normal cast. So I think you might be closer to 3.5 bars maybe, or possibly even 3 bars. This is why it's best she only does 1 soul break instead of trying to do 2, because not only if you do, let's say you do normal turns, then you slot in a USB, which isn't instant cast, that's even slower. That means you're going to be doing more damage, but building up less soul break points, and she's going to lose 1 bar early on. So really, I could lose the ability to do any soul break points. But now we need to decide on who's going to do what. So we've established that Edge and Mog, they can afford to sit on their soul break points because they've got more time to get theirs off. Whereas Rydia and Barbariccia, they don't. They need to get them off as soon as possible. But because Barbariccia has only 2 bars to worry about, Bahamut could take one of these bars and we'd still be safe. But let's just get going. Let's actually start doing damage. It's not going to be a lot because we've got this 5-second wall, which I forget when it went off. I think must have been around about 14.5 seconds. And Edge, because he's got 2 soul breaks to worry about, let's get one of those off now before it gets too late. Here we go. This is where Rydia is. She did 1 awaken, and she doesn't have instant cast, and that's why she's so low. So I think really Rydia needs to start doing DPS. We haven't got time to do the Dia. Not right now. That's where we have a problem, where if you go too fast in phase 1, you don't have the bars for phase 2. Okay. Yeah, let's do this now, shall we? And I'm a little bit concerned that Mog will not get the soul break points in time, so this is where really you need to have 6-star abilities as much as possible. Rosa, I think we'll wait on her. I think she can afford to wait. I want Rydia to get her turn off. We can't afford to waste any soul break points here. So let's go straight into the synchro. And then Edge. I think he can wait. I'll have him wait. So now, when Rydia suffers from Memory Bite, it doesn't matter, she's already got her soul break points off at this point. Mog, you really need to get your soul break points up. Barbariccia, she needs to start doing damage. But because we've got no souls to worry about, this is why I'm holding off on Edge. Ah, of course. This is why I've got Barbariccia, she's got the damage reduction barrier when she does her awaken. There's the champion roar, so now I can do the synchro. And there's the memory bite, so even though I have the synchro, let's just do the USB. Let's assume, for you guys watching, I don't have the synchro. They're pretty much the same. They both do quick cast 2 and just you have synchro command. I really don't think it matters what you do at this point, but we could always do Unsullied Might. That will boost our holy damage, but because we've got Awaken active at the same time, let's go with Resolute Heart. We want to start building. Oh, we've already got the damage going. That's good. But we're down to 1 soul, which is good. That's what we want. We want less. I think we want less than 3. So you could get away with using normal blitz if you wanted to. But already I'm starting to think about what to do about Mog. He needs to be at full ATB by the time we reach 40%. But at the same time I can't wait too long because the second memory bite will remove 2 bars. So it's probably better to push than to wait. Here I don't think it really matters which one we choose, but let's do, because it's unlinked, we can just use his hero ability, which probably will do more damage. And we can see the walls worn off now. And okay, you got interrupted, so don't have to worry about which one to choose. Sometimes the synchro ability is better than the hero ability. But here, yeah, this is where we need to think now. So at least now I have the opportunity to see how much damage. Oh, here we have the problem. Rydia should be okay, but I think let's see if we can try and get hit. There we go. There's the swipe. So now, oh, okay, that's another reason to wait. So Rydia is probably the better one to do DPS. So let's have Edge do his ability, and then we can get the Awaken 2 off. You could have potentially have pushed. Let's say if the next turn was going to be Memory Bite, then yeah, it'd be better to push then and wait until the first turn of phase 3, and then you do the I think Rydia will do so much DPS in probably worth worrying about. Okay, so she's not doing it. There we go. Yeah, this is probably where the hero ability is better than the synchro because it's got a higher multiplier. But everyone seems to be good on deep damage, health, and they've got the damage reduction barrier. So we'll wait on Rosa. Go. Sometimes it's not important to clear the Dragon's Rage, it just helps. I think because we've got so much DPS, let's just go straight in with the ASB. Let's just see how much damage it can do. Rydia, unfortunately I can't show off her Dians because I'd never cast it. And that's just it. You don't need 3 soul break points, but she can't cast her ASB anyway, even if I had it slotted, so... Yep, that's pretty nice. why I prefer mage teams. They're so much easier to do. And I didn't put Edge's ASB on here, but we don't need it. He's probably doing more damage. If he triple casts his hero ability, you don't. And then Barbariccia should just about get her turn off. Morgan, you're healing. And there we go.